Hello YouTube, my name is Gog and welcome back to another episode of Let's Make an Ant Mask. And hello Lolly. So now we are on to the fabric phase. We got this all made up today. Shooting this here later tonight. I was gonna maybe hopefully do this all in one go. I don't know if I'll have that quite in me tonight. But now we got to put the fabric on, and now we get to use some of our other tools. And now I get to give you guys the disclaimer on these magnets. These magnets, sorry, I just bumped the mic. They can be very dangerous. Mainly for children and animals. You don't want, your kid eating one of these and then coming back 2 hours later and getting another one, and then right there in their intestinal tract they snap together, and that kid's gonna be in for some major surgery there. So definitely, if you're gonna be using these, you're gonna want to keep them out of reach of children and animals. And you don't have to use these. This is just my solution. It works tremendously well. They can be a little expensive. These tools here that we're going to be getting into this process are the ones that actually are going to cost you a little money, but not too much. Each one, so I guess we'll just talk about them. So we have these. These are a pair of ceramic kitchen shears, and we use these in concert with the magnets, and we'll see why later. But these will run you about 30 to 50 bucks. And for a bunch of magnets like this, and you probably really only need half this, really, for a project this size, would be about 50 bucks, 50 to 70 bucks. These things are about 75 cents a piece, and they are really great, really, really wonderful. They've been a big part of all of my processes. And one thing when working with them, they're really tough. You really got to pull them off there. And one thing you want to be careful of is you do not want to let them snap back, because as you can see, they chip really, really easily. And it's fine, it's not a big deal. But just to keep them lasting longer, just so you don't have to buy new ones, because they will break down. Hi there. Okay, so here we have a raggedy ass scrappy piece of brown. This is all the brown I got left, covered in cat hair. And we're going to put this on this here. We're going to start this out. It's a little twisty. Something's a little off. Let's see. So I've watched my videos, my other recording, and I'm pretty happy with the frame. I noticed I was kind of working a little out of the frame sometimes, but mostly I was okay. This is way off. This needs to be over here to be centered. I'm not going to worry about that, because I think that's just going to be hidden anyway. So let's just get on. Let's just get our fabric on. And so we're going to use these magnets. I want to keep hold of that needle there. I love my needle. I've had that needle a long time. So to do this, we take, this cord. Sorry, I'm having cord issues. Okay, that should be better. Okay, so we take this stuff, and this is, oh god, there's so much cat hair on it. This is a 4-way stretch cotton fabric, and I just buy this stuff, so as you can see, it's tremendously stretchy. You can get double, it basically stretches to double almost, not quite, pretty close. But I just buy this stuff at my local fabric store whenever it's on sale. It's about, when it's on sale, it's about $7 a yard. And 1 yard of this stuff will be good. It'll get you a lot of mileage because it stretches so much. So now when we're putting this on, we only have this one piece. This is going to be a challenge here to try and get this all in one piece. So when you're doing this, you want to kind of think about the plane that you're going to put this on, and you want to be as efficient as possible, because that will save you time when you start sewing. So I know what to do here. That's a little different. That's a problem that this is... Now we'll see. We'll see. It's probably not going to be a problem. So now you want to kind of get the biggest piece on there and have a big enough piece left over. Because we're only going to need this one piece of brown to do this. And I like to just have my net. See how the net is vertical there? I just like to keep that consistent. That is just me. So let's get applying to this. So you just grab a magnet. And we'll kind of start up at the top here. Hopefully everything is in frame. It should be. And we'll stick it like... So this is like the apex here. So we'll just kind of take the magnet, put it there. And we want to kind of... I think we need to give it a little bit more there. Trying to keep that knit lined up with the central line, and I will of course de-hair this afterwards, as everything, as any cat owner understands, is a necessary part of life. So then we kind of step out as we stretch this over it, and this is not, this is just the kind of the first pass. Ooh, this is going to be tight. Ooh, yeah, that's tight. That is real tight. Okay, so when you start pulling stuff real tight like that, it helps to have two magnets. So you take it, pull it over your... Let's try to get this in the frame. Pull it over your magnet, hold it there, take your other guy there, pop, suck him on there, and that ain't going nowhere. That is going to stay. It might pop a little bit, but it still grabs onto the same spot. And we just kind of finish doing that. And so I also want this piece to come down and do this side of the mandible, I've decided. Sometimes I'll do the mandible separate, but we're going to try and do that. And maybe that little cut there, that kind of works to our advantage, just a tiny little bit. Ooh, maybe this isn't going to stretch. Ooh, it's going to be tight. Sometimes it's tight. Okay. So do that, pull it down, just kind of hold it on that corner there, snap a magnet on there, and these things are they're just incredible. Maybe I'll put a link to put in for the in my description for the specific magnet I use, because there are a lot of disparity between these. You can go to your craft store-ish place, and they'll usually have rare earth magnets, which is what they are. But they have ones that they're pretty low grade. They don't have the same pull. Each one of these guys is rated for like 9 pounds. And that's just ridiculous. And that's why they're a little more expensive, because they have such a high grade. They're the highest grade you can buy. I think the grade is like N52. And so now what we're doing is we're just trying to define this edge. And we're just snapping a magnet on at every like kind of little pivotal point. So we got one there. Did it on that side, and we'll flip it over. Hey, you leave that alone. He's being naughty. And we just do that, continue that on over here. And you want to kind of pull it tight. Because I don't know if you guys can tell, but the tighter you pull it, the more transparent it is. And that is useful because when you got your head in there, it's nice to be able to see out. I've found. Okay. Yeah, see, this is going to be weird. Let's redo this corner here. He's getting kind of pulled. Oh, I know. You just can't resist, can you? And see, you're going to get stuck. Okay, let's put another one down here just to hold that. Hold that right where I want it. And just do the same on this side. Yeah, it's real tight over here. It is tight. Okay. Hey. Stop it. Let go. So that's that. That is a big piece just applied. And we have it held there with all these little magnets here. And now we get our scissors, and this is why it's important that we have ceramic scissors. Because if you try and go around this with your regular scissors, I mean, you're going to be jumping to the magnets. You are not going to have a fun time. It's going to just be really frustrating. I used to work like that. So let's use kind of our lap as our little table here. And you just kind of pull it tight and get it right where you want it, and you just cut right around there. Okay, hopefully that's not too close to the camera. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are framed. It's not going to be perfect. As a whole, I'm pretty pleased. There's only a couple times where I thought I was really working too much out of... sorry, I keep bumping the mic because the cord is all up in my business. Gosh dang it, you cord, get out of here. So yeah, sometimes we have a little framing. That's just going to happen. It's really kind of a funny problem because, having a camera strapped to your head, it's pretty much impossible for me to be able to view the frame and to adjust. I can't adjust the frame on the fly. And I can't ever really see the frame without mounting some kind of monitor in here. And every time I look at the frame, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to see it too. So it's just not an option. So we just kind of have to just cross our fingers. And things seem to be going okay. I think my problem was I was kind of working too low, and that's where I usually work. So I just got to kind of try and bring myself up a little bit or bring my head down, which I think is a little easier to manage. So yeah, we're just going around the edge, cutting this all out. Yeah, we just keep going. This is going to be nice, and we're going to have a nice little round there. It's not something, that's one thing I really like about this process is you can get really, really nice curves like that to just happen naturally because that's just the way the fabric wants to go. Okay. Got about done with this piece. Okay, and there's a section. We're going to need another biggish piece for right there on the bottom. We got plenty. We'll need another inside piece, so we can do this all in 3 pieces here. 3 pieces, I think. Yes, that should not be a problem. Okay. Let's get this cut here. And just follow your line right along the edge. And that's that. There is our big piece. Stuck right on there. All right, and now let's do the back piece. This piece will be kind of smallish or smaller. Okay, let's get that in a good spot right there. And so let's see, where's our knit? Knit is running this way. Okay. Running a little low on magnets. You'll kind of, once we start sewing, we'll start reclaiming them. So I have a lot of magnets. I have a number of them kind of tied up in other projects. So they're not totally always accessible, but I can always go pull them out. I'm just really in love with these magnets. I've done a ton of work with them. I've used them to make just massive sculptures out of wire and fabric. I mean, truly massive, like as big as a house. And that was one of my favorite sculptures. And I think I might eventually show you guys how to make that. It's a really easy project and really fun to install. So we'll just kind of snap all around here just so we get a good feel. That's good. That's looking fine. And let's just cut this out. Let's just start it right here. And this cut around our neck hole. Let's put one here just to kind of hold things in place. And these scissors, that's one thing you got to be careful of. I don't know if you can see, but they are chipped up, man. You cannot sharpen these. Impossible to sharpen. So when they're chipped for good. So if you have them, you need to be really careful with them. The most common thing is you're going to be cutting and you're going to nick the metal and you're going to be cutting too hard, and that can give you a chip. So yeah, you just want to watch out for that. Okay, let's get this up in this corner. That's where that magnet is. Okay, got there. And this is kind of a rough line. When we are actually going in and sewing, we'll probably be cutting more of this out. Okay. Okay, so let's cut this over here. This is kind of the edge of the fabric, so it's kind of gross. Kind of want to cut that out. It's all rolled up and not real nice to work with. So just cut that there. Let's magnet that in. And we'll cut that little tab out right there that we leave there. We'll cut that out when we're getting ready to sew. Well, I think this is a good time to sew. We're going to do that. And this, I think, we're going to be doing some fast forwarding, because this is where you're going to be spending your time on this, is your sewing. And until you really develop a good rhythm, it's going to be tricky. So let's just get right into it. We're going to be doing that, and what I'm planning on doing here is sewing around here and kind of speeding it up and kind of just cutting out whenever. Oh, this is filthy. This yarn just picks everything up. So let's take a look at the yarn. So this is actually a Joann brand yarn, Joann Fabrics brand. It's called Sensations. Beautiful black. And they stopped carrying it at my Joann Fabrics. And I asked them to please buy it again because I will buy it from them. They're like, nope, we're not going to do it. And I was like, really? That's a really dick move from you guys. So I ordered online, a little cheaper because I'm buying it in a higher quantity. But that's the yarn. I like to pull from the middle just because then it keeps all the dirty crap on the outside. Because this stuff just picks up everything around you. So there you go. Usually cut off a piece like this. You're going to want to cut a piece off that is about your arm's length, because that's what you're going to be like. That's going to be your stroke when you're sewing. And you don't want to be, having to stroke twice, I guess I'm trying to say. And also the yarn, as you're working with the yarn, you're going to be pulling it through the holes, and the stuff that is up by the needle is going to be getting pulled through those holes, exponentially more times, and it starts to degrade. So this is a good length to work with. You want to work with something like this about here. I don't know if you guys get that all in the frame. The cat loves this stuff. So, and now I'll show you. Here is my needle. It is just a big, I think they call them yarn darners, just a big fat needle. Sorry, I'm a little stuffy. And I took my pliers and very carefully gave this tip a little hook here. That's about all I could give it. These needles are tremendously hard steel. Can't bend it at all. That's all I could get. And so that's my needle there. I've had it for a really long time. And you might be thinking, how in the world are you going to thread that big bulky stuff? Well, this stuff is actually really, really easy to thread. I'll show you here right now. You just take it, double it over, squeeze it in your fingers like that so it has nowhere to go. Take your needle. Let's try and get this in the frame so it focuses. And you just take it and you just squeeze it, give it a little shimmy there. And it just pops right through and you pull it on through like that. And that's it. And when we're working this needle, usually, if you're sewing or something else, you might tie it off. That's not a good idea with this stuff because we're already going to be pulling this pretty substantial yarn through this very, very fine knit. And it's, you don't want to do that. You don't want to add a knot there to just make the hole bigger because you don't want to be breaking this knit. It's annoying and it makes these little holes that don't look very good. So let's get started. Let's start with this edge here. So when I start So let's make sure we get ourselves set up right here so we can get everything in frame. Start off, we just go in and you can just kind of, don't worry about the extra fabric. You can just kind of take that stuff and sew it in. It's kind of good though to bulk up the seam a little bit so you don't have to use your yarn to bulk it up, because the yarn in this process is by far the most expensive thing. Besides the tools. The yarn is the one thing that you're not going to be working with efficiently. You're going to do everything inefficiently because you're going to need to be looping it around this little thing multiple times, so you're not going to be able to double it or triple what you get from it like you can with the fabric. So, okay, let's make sure. So I just pull that through, just let that kind of stick there, and we're going to kind of catch that other side there just to kind of get it in place. And this is kind of, we're going to just be a little messy here because this is just the back, you know, no one's really going to see this area. So you just kind of put them on through and we just hold on to that tip, and this stuff loves to grab itself when you're pulling it through like that. So usually you take countermeasures like something like that where you don't let it catch itself. But we're just going to take this and we're just going to do our edge here. And we're going to go all the way around. I will try and, let me adjust the camera a little bit. Try and keep everything in frame as best I can. And we'll probably be speeding up a little bit here. I'll probably stop and break to give you guys some awesome wisdom or something. But we're just going to start going here. Alright guys, we're just at the halfway point there. I didn't really pull this real tight, and usually if I was doing like this edge, I would fill this out more so you couldn't see the wire there, but since this is the inside, I'm not too worried about it. And you will see that when you're pulling through this stuff, you're going to want to sometimes brace the fabric like this, right next to where you're pulling through, just so you don't break the knit. This knit really will like to break if you're like just yanking on it like that, because you will get hung up sometimes. So there's that. I think we're probably going to speed up till we get up to the next spot here. Actually, I'll probably speed up until we get to the next string, next yarn switch. Oop. Okay guys, so this is about the point you can see the yarn is all just kind of pulled totally kind of flat. So when you want to change this out, and we just cut it, we just leave a little nubby them there, grab us another length here, and this is how I end my stitch. I'll tie a knot sometimes, but for the most part I'll just leave that like that and I'll just sew it in and just kind of grab it along with that, and it just goes right on into the seam and it will never come undone. It never has for me, at least. Okay, and we are just about up here. That'll do us nicely. We'll just cut that off. You don't need that. And we're going to want to pull this in so we can grab this along and kind of hold it in place. Just grab it. Just grab it. Pull this on up here. Come on, buddy. Get on up there. And I mean, it looks kind of messy now, but it will all get cleaned up. And we're just going to continue on. Oh, we lost it. This is going to happen a lot. You're going to be rethreading this needle constantly. And you're going to eventually you're going to get to the point where you can do it with your eyes closed. And we're just going to continue on around here. You'll see what I'm doing here in my stroke is I'm kind of laying my yarn like this back so that it doesn't catch itself. That's the reason I'm doing that little fancy move there. And you can see now I'm kind of making it a little tighter because this area is going to be more exposed, so I want it to look a little nicer. So we sew it in a little tighter. All right, and that's done. That is one of the biggest stitches of the piece. Well, maybe that's not true. There's a couple other small things. Maybe like the antenna are a little bit. All right, now here we are at our first 2 pieces of fabric at once stitch. So let's try and get a good angle here. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to grab the little hooky guy, give it a grab, come on through, grab the other side, and just push on. And just do that again, grab, come out roughly on the other side right there, push on through. That might have been a little close to the camera. And you just do that on down. Making sure to grab both layers. Sometimes you want to grab a little bit more. You don't want to just grab right on the edge because then you might break the knit. And then that'll make a little hole right there. And sometimes it also helps if you just grab the fabric and just hold it like with your one hand and then just sew with the other one just so you can have the fabric right where you want it. Oh, that's a perfect angle right there. So that's what this is. Sitting down on the floor like this is really useful for, is getting the perfect angle for these stitches, because you're going to get to some stitches that are just going to be really troublesome. All right, let's start a new string. And you're going to need to come at them from a very strange angle. All right, get that threaded nice and quick. Usually when I start a new thread, I like to put it a little ways down just so I can have a chance to go around it a couple times before I catch the other one. Let's just do that. So then you can just like that. And I know I said I was going to make it more dense, the knit. I'm not. I'm just going to try and do this as fast as possible, because usually what I end up doing anyway is I'll just go back and go over this again, maybe off camera. Once you guys get this down, I don't think that will be an issue. Usually I have to do that anyway, because there's always going to be like high spots like this that are just you're going to have to just go over and over again. So it's best just to do that all at once and just eliminate all of those high spots in one go. Alright, and sometimes you'll come to like, let's cut this little piece off, it's bothering me. Sometimes you'll come to a spot like this where you just want to end it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of tying knots. I'll do it sometimes. Sometimes this is what I'll do. I'll just take it and I'll just kind of push it back through my knit as far as I can, and it kind of comes out. And then you just pull it through, and that's not going anywhere. That'll hold right there nicely. At least long enough till we get over in this area. And we just got to do that on the other side. Done with that stitch. Let's kind of just push it through here. And guys, I think this is a good place to end it. Got a lot done. And yeah, we're getting there real close. We got mostly done. This is we're about halfway through here. So next time we're going to be putting in our thing here. This is a really complicated place to be sewing. So that'll probably be a whole episode itself, then probably one more for the finishing touches, being the eyes and the antennas here. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. It's always much appreciated. My name is Gog, and hopefully you guys are liking what you're seeing. I'm going to be making lots of real cool stuff here. So please keep on watching, and please leave a like and subscribe. See you later.